Stop everything you are doing right now and listen closely, because what I am about to tell you is not just another piece of passing crypto news. It is a deafening signal flare from the financial front lines, a strategic move so profound that it could very well dictate the flow of institutional capital for the next decade. And if you are not paying absolute attention, you risk being left on the sidelines, watching the greatest wealth transfer of our generation unfold without you. This is not a drill. This is a corporate paradigm shift happening in real time, and you need to understand its every implication immediately. So, I need you to do something for yourself right now. Hit that subscribe button and smash the like button, because we are about to dive deep into a story that goes far beyond the simple purchase of 29.46 Bitcoin. We are dissecting a masterclass in corporate treasury strategy that every single investor, from the Wall Street whale to the crypto curious, needs to see and internalize. The story, as initially reported by outlets like Odaily, appears deceptively simple on its surface. A Japanese publicly traded company named Remixpoint has quietly, almost nonchalantly, added another 29.46 Bitcoin to its formidable reserves, a purchase that brings the company's total war chest to a staggering 1,411.29 BTC. Now, if your eyes glazed over for a second, I need you to snap back to focus, because you are missing the entire point. This is not about the number. It is about the narrative. Let us break down why this is an earthquake in a teacup, a move that should have every corporate boardroom from Tokyo to New York sweating. First, consider the player. Remixpoint is not some shadowy, anonymous crypto fund operating out of a digital basement. It is a publicly listed, transparent, and regulated entity on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. This distinction is everything. It means their every move is scrutinized by auditors, answered to shareholders, and compliant with financial regulations. Their decision to not just hold, but to aggressively accumulate Bitcoin is a legitimizing force that 1,000 Elon Musk tweets could never hope to achieve. It is a cold, calculated, and fully audited bet on an asset class that the old guard has repeatedly tried to write off as a fad. They are not just betting with company money. They are staking their corporate reputation, their shareholder value, and their entire future on the Bitcoin protocol. And they are doing it repeatedly. Think about that level of conviction. But to truly grasp the magnitude, we need to talk about the concept of a corporate treasury. For the last century, the playbook has been simple and universally accepted. You park excess company cash in low-yield government bonds, maybe some blue-chip stocks, and you keep a large portion in cold, hard fiat currency in the bank to weather any storms. This has been the dogma, the unshakable truth of corporate finance. What Remixpoint is doing, along with a small but growing vanguard of companies like MicroStrategy, is tearing that playbook to shreds and writing a new one in real time. They are looking at the current financial landscape, a world of rampant money printing, soaring national debts, and negative real interest rates, and they are making a conscious, strategic decision that the old guard's playbook is fundamentally broken. They see holding cash, the very lifeblood of the traditional model, as a guaranteed losing strategy, a slow-motion erosion of purchasing power orchestrated by central banks. So they are making the ultimate pivot. They are converting that decaying fiat currency into a hard, sovereign, and globally recognized digital asset with a verifiably scarce supply. This is not speculation. This is capital preservation on a planetary scale. It is a hedge against the entire global fiat system. When a public company makes this move, it is a statement that they have more faith in a decentralized, algorithmic monetary policy than they do in the promises of central bankers and finance ministers. And this is not a one-off flash-in-the-pan trade for them. This recent acquisition of nearly 30 Bitcoin is merely another step in a long, consistent, and deliberate accumulation strategy. They are not day trading. They are not trying to time the market. They are executing a dollar-cost averaging strategy on a corporate level, systematically converting their yen into Bitcoin, regardless of short-term price volatility. This demonstrates a maturity and a depth of understanding that the mainstream financial media consistently fails to report. They get it. They understand that Bitcoin's value proposition is not its price in dollars next week. It is its properties as a foundational new asset class, a non-sovereign store of value for a digitally native global economy. They are positioning their company not just for the next earnings quarter, but for the next half-century. And for anyone watching, this should be your wake-up call. If a publicly traded company with all its fiduciary duties and regulatory burdens can see the writing on the wall so clearly, what excuse do you, as an individual investor, have for remaining on the sidelines? This is the institutional adoption narrative you have been hearing about, and it is not coming from a vague future. It is happening right now, in broad daylight, on the public ledgers for anyone with the wisdom to look. Now, let's pull the camera back from Remixpoint specifically and view this event through the widest possible lens. Because the true shockwave from this single corporate action is not contained within the borders of Japan or the balance sheet of one company. It ripples outwards, fundamentally challenging the entire global corporate power structure and offering you, the individual, a previously unimaginable blueprint for personal financial sovereignty. For decades, the game was rigged, not necessarily by some shadowy cabal, but by a system of access and scale that was inherently exclusionary. The largest institutions, the sovereign wealth funds, the mega corporations, they had access to investment vehicles and hedging strategies that were completely off limits to the average person. They could park wealth in vast real estate portfolios, manipulate complex derivatives, or influence entire commodity markets. All while the little guy was left with savings accounts that offered negative real returns and retirement funds tied to an increasingly volatile and over-leveraged stock market. This purchase by Remixpoint, this quiet, consistent accumulation of Bitcoin, is a direct assault on that very disparity. It signals that the most powerful tool for financial preservation in the 21st century is no longer the exclusive domain of the elite. It is an open-source protocol, accessible to anyone with an internet connection and the conviction to use it. Bitcoin is the great equalizer. Remixpoint, with its billions of yen in revenue, is buying the exact same asset that you or I can buy. They are subject to the same monetary policy, the same network rules, the same verifiable scarcity. For the first time in modern economic history, the individual investor can execute the identical core strategy as a multi-million-dollar corporation. We are all playing on the same field now, and that is a revolutionary concept that cannot be overstated. This brings us to the most critical point of all, the geopolitical dimension. We are witnessing the slow, steady unraveling of the post-World War II Bretton Woods financial order. The US dollar's hegemony is being questioned not just by rival nations, but by the very nature of a globally connected digital world. Countries are exploring central bank digital currencies, some of which could create unprecedented systems of control and surveillance. In this tense and uncertain environment, corporations with international operations face a terrifying question. How do you protect your assets when the geopolitical winds shift? How does a Japanese company safeguard its value if tensions rise in the Asia-Pacific? Or how does a European firm insulate itself from the fallout of a regional banking crisis? The traditional answer was a complex and expensive web of currency hedges and cross-border banking relationships. The new answer, as demonstrated by Remixpoint, is breathtakingly simple. You convert your fragile, politically bound fiat currency into a politically neutral, borderless, and censorship-resistant network. Bitcoin is becoming the corporate treasury asset for a deglobalizing world. It is the ultimate insurance policy against local economic collapse, capital controls, or aggressive monetary policy. It is a digital life raft, and Remixpoint is ensuring it has enough seats for its entire enterprise. This is not a theoretical exercise. Look at companies in Argentina, Turkey, or Nigeria where local currencies are in freefall. For them, Bitcoin isn't a speculative investment. It's a survival tool. Remixpoint, by proactively building its position, is demonstrating a forward-thinking mindset that other, slower-moving corporations will eventually be forced to emulate, creating a relentless, structural buyer for Bitcoin that has nothing to do with retail sentiment or meme-fueled hype. This is a tidal wave of cold, institutional logic that is just beginning to crest. So, what does this all mean for you sitting there watching this? It means the excuse of "it's too risky" or "it's a bubble" has been utterly demolished by the actions of rational, publicly accountable corporations. They have done the deep research, they have weighed the risks, and they have concluded that the greater risk is in not owning Bitcoin. Your personal investment strategy now lags behind the corporate innovation curve. The question is no longer if you should have an allocation to Bitcoin in your portfolio. The question is, why don't you? The blueprint for protecting your hard-earned wealth from the systemic risks of the modern financial system is no longer a secret. It's being published on blockchain ledgers every single day by companies like Remixpoint. They are showing you the path. The only thing left to decide is whether you have the foresight and the courage to follow. This is not the end of the conversation. This is just the beginning. The financial world is changing faster than ever, and staying ahead requires a community. So, I want to hear from you. What company do you think will be the next to announce a major Bitcoin treasury purchase? Do you think your own country's corporations are behind the curve? Let's get a massive discussion going in the comments below. Share your thoughts, your predictions, and your own research. And if this video opened your eyes to what's really happening, do not keep this knowledge to yourself. Share this video with one friend, one family member, one colleague who you think needs to see this. You might just be the one who helps them secure their financial future.